Hello my friends, this is Qinghong here. Today we have something very special. That is, we'll paint Aloka the Peace Dog. Let's dive in. Okay, so here we got our sketch ready. My secret about how to paint soft effect of the animals. And this is a new method I've been learning. And here you see I'm actually wetting the paper, and then I turn it around and start to put on water on the front side. So this way this paper is really saturated with water. It's actually really nice to paint. It will stay flat as long as the paper is still moist. I'm using a little tissue paper to gently pat on the paper and get off some moisture on the face, because if it's too much water, my feature will not stay. It will just flow all over. And I mix some burnt sienna and to put into the pupil area, the eye area, leave out the highlight, leave bigger than I would need. So this is actually my first layer. Now I can start to drop in darker colors. So I'm now picking up some burnt umber, a darker brown color. And start to add the darkness around the eyes and inside the eyes. Because my paper is moist, this comes out as having just a very soft edges, and there's no hard edges, so it looks really natural. However, you will see later the downside is because there's water, there's moisture on the paper, so everything is going to dry up lighter because water dilutes the pigments more than you would be on a dry paper. So you would see later on that I came in a second time to basically paint this over again. So that is one thing to be mindful, to be aware as you approach this yourself. Just don't be afraid to give it more pigments, make it darker than you think you would need, because it's going to dry up lighter. So this is my learning process. I'm learning from it every time I paint, so that's all wonderful. Even though I had to do it again, paint second time, but it also adds to the depth to it. And I start to add shadows around the eyes. Here, I really apologize. I don't know what happened, but I somehow didn't video the parts that I put on the facial area, the face area, but just to give you an idea, I used yellow ochre mixed with some burnt sienna to put on the light kind of yellowish color, yellow brownish color, to cover up the face where there's no white. And then I start to drop in a little darker color with raw sienna and burnt sienna mixture. So it's basically like the process I did for the eyes, but just in a bigger area. And my paper at this point is still moist, so that is why the color looks so moist, so soft. So this is a wonderful way to get the fur effect, especially for those soft furs. And here I'm moving on to the nose. And for the nose, it's actually a very interesting area to paint because the highlight, the light part of the nose is very helpful to define the nose and make it feel like so moist and alive. So this time I actually put on darker color first and then gently sweep that color into the lighter part. So there's a more soft, natural, but a difference between light and dark. You know, because the dark itself, the nose itself is a dark area. It's just too easy for us to darken it entirely, and we would lose all that lovely highlight. You see, I just very carefully left out that highlight that underneath the nostrils. And this nose right now have a pretty like well-defined light and shade pattern, so it looks more three-dimensional. And I will darken the part that needs to be a little darker, but this is just a wonderful way when you paint a darker area to still have a beautiful variation of tones. It's not all dark. Now switch gear, we can move on to the ears. We got all our facial features done, and right now we can be more relaxed and coming to the ears. So I changed to a larger brush. This is a medium-sized Chinese calligraphy brush, and I mixed up some grayish rosy color for the inside of the ear. And I used the pigments are the permanent rose and mixed with a little bit of burnt amber. So it's a little bit dull, not just the pink. And you will notice that I intentionally to keep the ear less defined. I'm not like being so specific like I did with the eyes or the nose and the mouth, because the ear is kind of like further away, right, on the face, on the head. So I want it to be loosely defined so that it feels like further back from us. So here's a really wonderful way to create spatial relationship. Whatever you want to recede, you give it less definition. Even it's just an ear that's not too far away from the other side of the face. But when you do that, as you can probably see right now, it feels it's reset back. And that is another tip, a great way to make your subject look alive. Look alive is to have this variation of definition. See right now, the nose is so well defined. It's really coming at you, and the ears are setting back because it's just so loose. And honestly, I'm looking at my painting right now, and I know that my eyes need more definition, and we'll go there later. We just keep that in mind, and now continue to paint the ears. So I'm just picking up a few like hair effects that I want to add here and there, not everywhere. And there's a little bit of a hint, and a suggestion of hair is good enough. Now adding some ultramarine blue mixed with burnt umber, so it's not just a pure blue. So we have that for the grayish area. And this cold area is very much needed to balance off, to cool down this really warm colors that we have going on here. And here is just a wonderful place to talk about, to use the right kind of brush for the right area. So if you want to have just more blended area, use a bigger brush so that you don't have to manually blend. See, use a big brush is just naturally leaving less brush mark. And that's actually one thing that I see my students do at class, is they use the same brush for everywhere, and especially not using the bigger brush as often as they could. So if you have a bigger area you want to cover with less fuss, definitely use a bigger brush. And this one I'm using is a cat tongue brush, a natural hair, and I really love it. I need a bigger size because this is just so wonderful to use to paint a bigger area. Now I'm thinking I need some background color for Aloka to stand out even better. And because there's some whiteness on her body, and when we have a whiter area or subject, the easiest way to bring it forward is to have a little bit darker background. And here I'm adding blue. So blue is a little bit of complementary to the yellow, brownish, orangish color we have. So just a little bit of blue is going to help balance your color scheme, complete the color wheel, and make it look more fresh. And also I'm mindful that this bluish color is a mid-tone. I'm not adding too much darkness because I like this painting to feel lighter, airy, because that's how Aloka feels. She's a lovely dog, not too serious. So I'm being mindful about choosing the colors that would bring out, amplify his character. Now we are coming into the final stage of the painting, and that is to really add very selectively the last round of details for the features I really want to stand out. And this time we are coming back to the eyes, since as my paper is drying and my eyes is no longer that defined when the color is dried lighter. So I decided to come in to give it another round. And this time I'm only going to paint the darkest dark, and with a little bit of mid-tone. You know, I'm not painting over these eyes again. We just talked about it, how that we don't want to cover up everything, but just where we want to add depth and definition. And this is what I'm doing. So just the darkest dark, but also softening it as I go, so that it doesn't look like stiff. And adding this little bit of darkness really is going to make a difference. All right, we are finally coming to the final touches, final touches, and that is to put on the whiskers. And this is really a fun stage, but my tip is don't overdo it. Don't put the whiskers everywhere. So, and this time, as you can see, I'm not using a brush, but I'm using a gel pen, because I've tried to paint whiskers using white gouache with fine tipped brush, but that wasn't very satisfying. So I'm trying to change and use a different tool. So I bought this set of white gel pen, and they're actually acrylic, so they have different tips, and here I'm just trying out different ones. And I do like the marks they are making, but I must say the drawback is they are not thick or opaque enough for my purpose. So I'm still looking for a good white gel pen, but I do feel the gel pen is easier to use than the brush. So I'm still looking. If you know some gel pen, white gel pen that you really like, please tell me in the comment, or if you know me on Facebook or Instagram, send me a message. I would love to hear from you. So, and another tip to add the whisker is to add where there is a shadows, a darkness, like what I'm doing right now and what I just did, so that this whiteness show up easier. All right, so here is the final completed painting, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Have a peaceful day, and I will see you next time.